This is my first time going through Alpha. I know it's a big part of life here at Our Lady of Mercy, so I wanted to go through it and see what it was like. And Zara said, Father Frank, can you do Holy Spirit Day? And I said, well, I've never done it before. It's like, that's fine. Father Mark did it. He didn't know. Father James did it. He didn't know. Hey, great. Well, sure. So we'll trust in the Holy Spirit to bring us all safely through this day. And so the importance of the Holy Spirit in our lives was really brought home to me when I think back about when I had a pneumothorax. And a pneumothorax is when your lung collapses. And so this happened to me when I was in high school. And when it happened, I didn't realize what had happened. I was walking my grandma back to her house after dropping her off from church. And all of a sudden I felt this sharp back pain. And I was like, that's kind of weird. So I told my parents about it, and they decided to drive me to the emergency room. Okay. So we're going, and we're driving. We get like 2 minutes away from the house, and I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. Let's just turn around and we can go back. And so my mom wasn't really happy. She's like, okay, sure. So we went back to the house, and she's like looking things up on WebMD. She's like, maybe you have this thing called pneumothorax where your lung collapses. And I said, it can't be that. But probably the one time in history where WebMD accurately diagnosed something. But at that time, we didn't actually know what it was. And so I was like, no, it's probably not that. It'll be fine. And my mom was like, okay, well, this is the weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. She said, okay, if your back is still hurting by the end of this weekend, we're going to go see a doctor after this. Okay, fine. And so went through all Memorial Day weekend. Back was still hurting. So on that Tuesday, I went to see the doctor. And so the doctor took a stethoscope and was listening to my lungs. And so when he got to my right lung, he kind of just stopped and very calmly said, okay, I'm not hearing any lung sounds in this lung. You should get to the emergency room right away. And so he was explaining what the pneumothorax was and my lung collapsing meant. And so thankfully after that, I was able to have surgery. Maybe I should explain what happened. So for thinner young men who are in their adolescence, they have these things called blebs that form at the top of their lungs. And sometimes they can just pop. Whether you're doing something strenuous or not, it makes a hole in your lung. So your lung collapses, and above it, that area fills with air. So that's what was happening to me. And so I ended up having surgery to help re-inflate my lung, take the air out, and attach my lung to my rib cage so that it would heal if it happened again. So thankfully, after I spoke to the doctor, I was able to get that surgery and be healed, and it happened again, but since then, it's been fine. But I bring this up because when I had that surgery for pneumothorax, I learned what that word means. So pneumothorax is Greek for wind in your chest, because it fills up with air. And so I learned that the word that Jesus uses in that gospel we read for spirit is pneuma. And that word can mean spirit or wind. So when he says the wind blows where it wills, it can also mean the spirit blows where it wills. And so we see in this that word for pneuma, wind, breath. It shows how necessary the Holy Spirit is for our lives. Without air, without being able to breathe, without our breath, we die. So we need the Holy Spirit to keep us spiritually alive. But probably for most of us here, we've received the Holy Spirit at our baptism. We've been baptized. We were born of water and the Spirit, as Jesus says here. And we've received the fullness of the Holy Spirit at our confirmation. So we're alive. We're spiritually alive with the Holy Spirit. But still, maybe many of us, even if we've been Catholic for a long time, we don't feel like we know the Holy Spirit like we should. And maybe many of us are like me after my lung collapsed. We're still alive, we're still able to breathe, but we sense that something's wrong. And we maybe can't put our finger on it. We have that sense of pain, but we try to go along with our lives like normal. And maybe there's even someone like my mom who's like said, okay, you need the Holy Spirit. This is exactly what's wrong. And we said, no, that's fine. I'm fine. Like, I have this back pain, but I can breathe. I'm fine. It's not a big deal. But in reality, we're trying to breathe with only one lung, while the other lung has a hole in it, and our chest is filling up with air. And so that's why we're all here today. Maybe we feel that pain of not having the Holy Spirit in our lives. And maybe we've been carrying that pain and not been able to name it. And so maybe today, Holy Spirit Day, is like going to the doctor. It might be uncomfortable, it might even be painful sometimes, but we need that pain in order to heal. And thankfully for all of you, I'm not the doctor today. The Holy Spirit is the doctor. and He knows exactly what you need and how to heal you. We just need to allow Him to. And so like any good doctor, in order to allow Him to work, there are a couple things we need to do. We don't need to fast. We're going to have a lot of good food today, so that's not part of the pre-surgical conditions. But today's a day of retreat, and so as Zara was saying, in order to be fully attentive to Him, we have to remove any obstacles that are in our path to receiving Him. And so one of the biggest distractions we have here is the one that we carry around in our pocket. It's our phone, right? And so it might be really hard, but I encourage you to take a couple hours today, just detach it from your phone, silencing it, turning it off if you need to. But just to take that time to remove any other voices from your life that are not God's voice, and listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit. And it might seem really hard, but you'll be really grateful that you did after you've experienced all of Holy Spirit Day unplugged. So you can plug into the Holy Spirit, right? And so another way we can allow the Holy Spirit into our lives is through worship. And so Josh has been speaking a lot to us about worship throughout the last couple of weeks. And especially today, we want to focus our worship on the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is God. And so I want to maybe give another angle to worship. And because worship comes from the word for worthy. We worship someone because they're worthy of our worship. And so that kind of seems like for us, maybe it's something lofty, like seems distant from us. And so maybe we can just call it love. We want to be able to love the Holy Spirit. But we can't love what we don't know. Love follows knowledge. And so today we're going to have a couple videos to teach us about the Holy Spirit so we can know about the Holy Spirit. But then we'll also have time today for moments of worship, for moments of special prayer to the Holy Spirit so we can know Him, we can know about Him, and then we can know Him personally, have a personal relationship with Him. And through that new and intimate knowledge with Him, then we'll be able to love Him. We'll be able to truly give Him that worship. So I just encourage you, as I'm sure Joe has said, Zara has said, Josh has said, just open your hearts to the Holy Spirit today, to allow Him to come to you, to come into your heart, so that you can know about Him, so you can know Him, and so you can love Him.